So we are discussing about how to create a table, right? As per your syllabus is concerned, that is the first question. So you have to create different kinds of tables and you have to execute different types of syntax over there. So now, dear students, you can see I have already opened the database and I have some queries: create table, client, master. That is, I have written client underscore m. So client number, we have one column, we have client number, that is character. We can make any type of data type here. Normally you can use varchar2 character number, we can use, right? So in this particular case you can use character also, you can varchar2 also. So this is primary key, we have mentioned the constraints. Here constraints we have used not null, right? And we have other columns we have. Now how to create? You can see create table, table name, then column, then you have a size, then data type and size, then you will have a constraints. If you have a constraints, you can add constraints. What are the different types of constraints? We have a primary key, not null, check constraints, then foreign key constraints. We have a different kinds of integrity constraints we have, right? So now you can use as per your requirements. You can use different kinds of uh, table constraints, column constraints you can use, right? So now I can use small also, short, customer underscore, that is client underscore m cm, or you can write client cli, no problem, client, client underscore m, that is client master table. You can run it, execute it. So you can see here table is created. Now this table is there in our database, that is in the system. Now suppose if you want to use another table, we can have in this particular session. So I can show you now in my query. Okay, so this is the first table we have done. This is the output you have, right? Next we can go for product master table. You can create also product master table. Control C. Now I can put here this query. You can see here product master. Now in product master I can make it product underscore m, because I'm just a little bit changing because this particular table is already exist in my database, that is under the system. So now I have another table I have created, product underscore character. These things also we can execute and you will have another table creation. This is another table is created. So different tables you can create and we can establish. The third table we have as per your, so salesman underscore master. So we can take these tables also. I'm just taking because already I have tested this query, just putting into this, right? So in this particular session you will find we have created, we can access different types of query over this. Now salesman, I can put master table, I can erase this, I can put it master. Now in this particular sessions we have created three tables till now. Now these are the columns already I have told. Primary key I have explained. This is uniquely identifies the records. Primary key, that is one constraints that we call it integrity constraints. Then not null also you have to compulsory put the value over here. So not null constraints always takes the value. You cannot skip the value. So these are the not null constraints we have, right? And those who have not null, so you can while you are inserting the value, you can skip the value also. You can put also, you can skip the value also. But whenever you are giving primary key or not null, you have to give the value. Otherwise, it erases the integrity constraints violates, right? So now you can execute this. So now this table also created. You can see here table is created. So these are the database objects, that is table we have created, right? Now we can have, next we have our DML statement, right? So DML statement, what is this DML statement? Insert, update, delete, merge. We have different kinds of DML statement. Now after creating the table, you can insert a few records on this so that you can make any kind of data accessing over here, right? So you can access, you can fetch different types of data from the different tables. Now we have to insert few records into that, right? So I can put first one by one. You can see here, I can take here because This is master. We have to take when we are writing any particular insert statement. We have a different ways of writing statement. So I have used one type. So you can use n number of types also. I can explain this. So you can write. So now this is one statement. So I have to make it correction because my table is client M, right? So now what is the syntax of inserting data into a table? Insert, that is keyword you can use, insert into, that is table name, and you can specify column name. Now here the point is we have a different kinds of notations. I'll explain. Just I can explain here. Now when I'm writing insert table, then I can write insert table name. Now I can write table name here. I'm just typing the syntax, right? Syntax, different ways I can create, I can insert data, right? So now here insert table into table name, okay, insert into table. Now this is one way we can mention the column name within bracket, but here I can directly insert. What is this? So insert into insert table. So you can use insert into then table name. Okay. So now you can directly use values. This way also you can write. So when you are writing this way, you have to give each and every value, You cannot skip any value, but you have to determine the sequence. Now first sequence, first number is client number, you have to put. The second, the name, then city. So whatever the order you have created, right? If you want to see, you can see here. I can go for this query. Now this order you can see here. So you have to give, when you are inserting values, you can follow the sequence. If you are skipping the column reference. So now what the type of inserting, you can see we have a three different kind of style to insert. Normally we use, we have different ways, but three different kind we use normally in the BCA level. You can have understand this. One is you can specify, as I told, this way. This is one way. Insert into, then table name, then column name, then values. This way. This is table name. This is table name. I can use this client master, right? Client M, and these are the column, and we can give. So these are all columns which is in the nocturnal constraints and primary constraints, right? So now I can insert this value. See here, inserted. One value is inserted. Now one row inserted. That means what happens here? We can put a limited values, whatever the values you want. You can put first column name. You can here also you can rechange or reorder the sequence. No problem. But once you will use directly values word, as I told in the previously, right? So like insert into client M and directly values. That time you have to follow completeness, right? Complete value you have to give as per the order. The second, if you want to insert second column, you can put here and you can put here. So this way you can insert. Now I have to modify it here because I have used M word. So inserted. So now how to see? You can see I have inserted two. Okay. If you want to take another more, so you can go for more queries also. I have a different values here. So you can take say a third one also. Okay. So you can insert here and just change it master into M. So you can insert this. So now we have inserted 3-4 records over here. Now suppose if you want to display it, okay, so you can display it. How can you display this? So select star from, that is your client underscore M only I have given. Now this query will help you to show you the value, whatever the values you have inside. Now you can apply now n number of queries, select queries, right? insert queries you can use because you have created the object. So last lecture we have seen so many insertion or select statements. So you can apply here now. Now how? That is the simple query we have select star from EMP. That means star means all columns it displays. Whatever the columns we have in this particular table, it can display all. So this is one nothing but it's a selection operations. All columns, all rows you will have in this. Now suppose if you want to restrict it, restriction means projections. Now in this particular phase you can find out the projection. Suppose I want to limit or I want to only few column I want to display. Client underscore number which I want. Then second, suppose I want to display city. Okay. Third, I want to have some balance. BAL underscore DU. Now these are the three columns I want to display. And you can put here run command, only three columns you have. Got my point? So now this is called projection. We are projecting only three columns here. This is projections, right? If you want to add all, if you want to restrict it also, because we have a maximum three rows we have, if you want to restrict it. So how can you restrict it? So if you want to use select statement, if you are using where statement, where clause, that means it restrict. So where condition we can give, where now you can put any particular for example I can put where balance du equal to 0, for example balance BAL underscore du du. So balance du equal to 0, this is our condition. So only that record must be displayed or few records must be displayed. See here only one record is there. If I'll put for example more than balance due is greater than 5,000 or 4,000. So now you see how many records will be there. 2 records are there. So this is the conditions where the complete output will be restricted. You can restrict the records by using where clause. You can restrict the column display by putting in this select statement. Right? If you want to display only city, so you can remove this. It also happens. Only 2 columns will be displayed. See here, 2 columns. I think this is okay. So how to create table? This is one way. How to insert values into the table is the second part. And third, how to access the value from the table I have explained. And 3 ways I have explained that is how to insert the data. Now the second part is very important. I will tell you. Sometimes we need instantly to create a particular table. Now, for example, I want to create the table like a client M. It is exactly same as one table, another table, because I have to do some backup purposes or I have to modify the client master. So I need the backup of this complete backup. So that time we can go for other purposes to create the table, right? How? I'll show you. Now this is very important and a very effective manner you can insert as well as you can create the table. Right? You can note down. This is very important and a very effective manner we can create. Now I can write one. You remember this particular table, and this table having if I'll have another time, I'll just show you how many columns we have, how many values we have. Just you can put here star and you can have this. Right? This is complete value. 3 records we have. How many columns we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 columns we have, 3 records we have. Now this particular client underscore M table having these values, right? Now what I can do, I can create a same table with a different name, but all the values will be there. How? Very one statement will give you this answer. So how can you create create table? Suppose I can write here temp temp underscore client temp underscore client. I'm create a temporary table, right? Temp table client CLM, right? So now I can use temp C client CLIENT. I think it is there, I think. So I can use CLT, temp underscore CLT, client, right? As, this is the word you have to use. As select star from, this is important, that is client underscore M. Client underscore M. If you are writing this way, what will happen? If first it creates one table, okay, and all the records, whatever the records in the client M, it will be automatically, it will be there in the temp CLT, right? You see, check it. I'm executing this. Got it? The query, I think this is create table, table name, as select star from this. You can put here also in down, no problem. You can make this way also to understand properly. Okay, this is how we can write. Select, create this as this, execute. Now table created. Now which table is created? This table is created. Now see, if I'll check it, it will be same as it is. Select star from this. I can remove this statement and you will have same values what you have in the previous table. See here. Now this way also you can create table. And if you don't want these values, you delete it. Well, so which statement will help you to delete all the records? Delete statement. How can I delete this? Is DELETE, delete from. Don't write star. Normally students used to do mistakes. Delete star from this table name. So you should not use star. So delete from, that is temp, TEMP, temp underscore client, CLT. We have this table, right? CLT. Run this. Now 3 rows deleted, right? So if you want to check it and you may not find these values, select star from this. Run. Sorry. Select star from. 2 times I have written. That's why it is giving error. No data found because we have deleted these things, right? Now this is how we can use create table in a different way, insert values in different ways, and we can fetch data from different types. Now we can go for the earlier versions of this. We can drop this table also permanently, right? We have deleted the data, but we did not delete the table. If you want to see the structure of this table also, you can see we can use DESC. So whenever you want to see the structure, right, we call it schema of the table. So you can have this done. Now this is the table structure. It is like your client table, right? So now these are the structure. This is already there in the database. Now if you want to remove permanently, we can use one detail statement that is called a drop table name. So we can use here drop table and here that is client temp TEMP underscore CLT. I'm going to completely remove from the database. So run this. Table dropped. So now you cannot see this table. If you want to use this query also, you cannot find DESC. This you cannot have. Object to be described could not found. Okay. So now this is how you cannot make. Right. So drop statement will completely drop the table. So this is how the drop statement will help. Right. Next, this is insertion completed. Then we have other tables also insertion part. We have inserting this second. You can insert also. I think you can insert these are the values into different tables. Then describe, as I told, describe. It shows you complete informations about the schema of your table, right? What are the attributes you have, not null, constraints you have, or primary key constraints it shows you. Then select star from client, that means all information if you want to display. So you can query this particular this, right? So similarly, we can create other tables also, and we can fire this way also, right? Next, we can go for the alter table, right? And we can have this. Now I can take this. This is very important statement. I can go for. Now alter statement will help you. I can put here. Alter statement will help you to alter the table, right? We have a table we have created like a underscore client underscore m, right? Add a foreign key client number reference to this. Now at the time of creation, table creation, you can create the constraints, but after also you can alter the table and add, you can add the constraints. Now alter table have a three options. What are these options? When we are altering the table, that means alter statement will help you to either add or modify or drop. Okay. Alter table add column name. Alter table add constraint name. Alter table modify the constraints, modify the column name. Alter table name, then drop column name. You can drop the column also. In particular situations, alter statement will help you to do all the tasks to modify, right? So now if you want to modify permanently by adding some column, by adding some constraints, by modifying some column, by modifying some constraints, or if you want to drop constraints, you can drop constraints or modify constraints by using alter statement. Very important statement we are using this. Sometimes at the beginning we may not have the requirement of foreign key. If you want to add later, you can use alter statement. So this statement will help you to show you the these things. Now because already we have created, right? Okay, I think constraints will be there or not, we just check it. If it will be there, then it shows you already exist, right? Run it. Table alter. So table alterations is done on client manager. Now if you want to see, now we have added the foreign key, right? So you can check it. You can check it. This table you can check DESC, then client client underscore m. If you want to see check it. Excuse me. Here. So in this particular phase, right, you can see these are the nullable. That means it can accept null values, and this is primary key. That means it cannot accept null values. These are the not, you see dash. Nullable dash means it can have some name. It always not null value, and this can have a null values, right? Now in the client, this is client table, right? In the client table you have a column and this. We cannot have here constraints over here, because when we have created constraints, the constraints stored in a different repository. That time you can go for different queries. We have how to fetch the constraints. How can you fetch the constraints? Now we have a table that is user constraints, right? If I'll say select, I'll check it. Select star from user constraints, user underscore constraints, where table okay, when this I will see what are the different constraints we have. User constraints. Now you can see here, these are the constraints by the user they have created. Under user constraints you have constraints. Now here constraints name, owner, all system has designed or developed these constraints. Now you can see here constraints we have client underscore m. This is on table. You can access also where table equal to client underscore M, right? System. This is constraints. Okay. So now these constraints you can see, and you can drop also constraints if you want to. This is enable, right? So you can take these constraints and you can drop this also, right? So now this is how the this is called a referential integrity, reference C, right? So all type of constraints you will have here. Okay. So now if you want to alter this statement, you can use alter drop constraint name. It can be removed. So you can use here, we have constraints, right? So here alter table client M drop. Now you have to access the constraint name, right? So that constraint name you have to type constraints name here, these things. Then only you can make delete of this. So now here I can make the very important as these are the things it is in the DB label. So now alter table client M. So now I can drop constraint. Sorry, constr. Character in I can make. I can do add column, column, then sub column. Now suppose I'm adding. Now in this I'm adding. And I'm adding a column. Columns are there 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm just extra I'm adding to this. Already I have created. I'm just altering the table with the options add. So now adding, when I am adding, add column, column name, then data type and size. So put it and run it. So it is invalid identifier, right? What happens here? Wildcat 3 column. So add column, column name directly we can use also sometimes. You'll check it. Now alter table, right? Sometimes it depends on different versions of Oracle database. Oracle 9 accepts add column, column name, but it is text direct add column name. You can give it this value. It is added. How did you see this? You can see DESC, then table name, that is client underscore M. Now you can see here whether it is added or not. You can see here C underscore temp. Now if you want to delete it or modify it, you can do. We can go for modification. So you can go for alter statement. Alter statement, I can go for here, just adding. Just I'm giving example, you can apply any columns and you can do as per your need, right? So here I'm going for modify, MODIFI. What sorts of things I can modify here? I can modify here size and Wildcat to whatever may be, right? Suppose I can make it 30. Make it 30. So alter table. So you can see 30 must be there. Okay, and I can drop here. If you want to see, check it. ESC, then client underscore M. So you can see here. This is becomes 30. And if you want to drop this, you can use the same query here and you can use drop. So now drop column name. No need of specifying size and this thing. Director drop column name. Run this. Missing keyword. Drop, I think COLUMN column name. So now here it is taking column name, right? So drop column name. Okay. So now this is becomes your. I can go for how to display this. Sorry. You can see it must be removed. See here, there is no C underscore temp, right? So now this is how we can use alter statement and we can make modifications over our table structure, okay, table schema, and it will be permanent in nature, right? So this is how we can use. So we have so many things today. We have discussed how to create table with different constraints, how to alter the table by adding constraints, foreign key constraints, and check. You can have any kind of check constraint, foreign key constraint. You can add anything, right? And similarly, you can give different kinds. This is one table we can create with different. See here, I'm taking this, and you will have a different kind of constraints over here, right? I'm going for creating another table. Create table sales order, right? Sales order I'm taking. That means I can take sales O. Because this way I'm taking, right? Sales O, this is your within bracket, the column name, Wildcat check constraints we have. So when you are creating the table at the table level, you can give these constraints also, like primary key, foreign key, you can give, or later on also you can put. Now, what does it mean? How it works, check constraints? It checks this particular value, checks order number like this is 0, it must be 0, right? Percentile from 0 to it starts this, right? So now order number here we have to check whether it is this, and then percentile means rest of the alphabets you can use. This is 1, Wildcat 2, first letter must be order O or 0, whatever maybe. It must be O. Order number means O. Primary key, these things you can use. Then again you can have another table here, delay type character, default value. If you are not assigning value, default will be F. And if you are assigning value, check the values, it must be F or delay type like P. So now if false or delay, that is present, and false whatever may be. So you can put these values two ways. So it always checks whether it may be F or it may be P. Similarly, I have another order status, then check order status in, either it must be in process, fulfilled, or back order or cancelled out of these three. So what happens whenever, suppose if you have a one table where you can have a gender, like gender, or like suppose if you want to put possibly like what do you call senior citizen, or not senior citizen, you have a different options if you have, and exactly that value must be there. Now if you are talking about bank, right? So suppose we have a like account, bank account, like a study loan. And study loan, if you have a regular customer, regularly you are paying the interest and whatever may be, you are a regular. Irregular, you have a irregular. So here two kinds must be there in the status. Now here other values cannot be accepted, if at all. So that time you can put check constraints, right? So this is the way we can create also table. So execute it, table created. Now this is how we can create with different constraints. We call it integrity constraints. While you are entering any values, that time it checks. So check constraints will have. So this particular table is also created with different constraints. This is also very important. You must have practice on this, right? So this is about where check constraints, right, and the default values. So alter table we have. You can use this also. And anything more on this? No. This is a simple table you have. You can create. So you have a different tables you can create, and you can have insertions values. So you can insert a few values to access the values on that, right? Next we'll have you can see your structure of your table by using describe table name, right? So these are the query you can use. Then next you will have, right, we have a different types of queries. Now in this particular question number 7 we have, that is select product number, descriptions, compute cells, these things, right, cells. So now how to use different types of arithmetical calculations in our table structure, right? So this is how we can use. I'll take it and we'll see it. Which table we are using here? Product master. We have a product master? No, we have only right now I have inserted a few records into the client, right? So client we can make also here calculations over here. Now suppose if I am taking this, we can use instead of this particular table, because I have not inserted the queries, right, records. So we can change, we can take other tables reference. Now for example, control V, select product number. I can have client number, right? client. Description, instead of descriptions I can take name, client name, right? And we can calculate it here value. Then here is balance. We have a balance due, right? BAL underscore due. Then balance due, if you want to calculate it, suppose balance due into 5% we will calculate on this. So you can put here BAL, because this value is numeric value I am taking, right? D, okay. As increased balance, I mean writing as increased balance. So I am displaying the table column as a increased balance, right? So this is, you can make this also calculations over here, and we can execute here. What is the use? You can get it. See here, I think our column name is different. DUE. Okay, we have to check it because oh sorry, this is not product master. This is your table name client underscore M. See here. Here the value. Balance is this, and we are calculating 5% of this. So it is 750. Similarly, 0, 0 and 5,000, that is 250. So now this is how we can make some calculations and we can display. So in this case, you can find out the column name client number is the same as client number. That is name is name, balance due is balance due. But if you see, this is a extra calculation we are performing here, arithmetical calculation. We have named it increase balance, one word. So this is increase balance is coming here. Whatever the name you will give here, it comes here, right? Suppose instead of this, I can use suppose IS, increased balance, or IB, whatever be. So it will be displayed in this IB. So this way we can use our we can make calculation, arithmetical calculations over column, and we can use different types of tables also, right? So here another one, you have a client in. So this is one client master table. So you can use this also. Already I have shown you, that is or conditions we have, and or we use logical operators. Okay, so you can use also here. So select client number, name, address, city from client master. So we can just edit it, client M, where city equal to Mumbai or Delhi. So here or operator is there. Or operator means you might have known either Mumbai or Delhi. Whatever may be, it will be displayed. See here. Sorry, that's a invalid statement. Somewhere I have taken as a mistakes. Client underscore M, client number, name, address, city, Bombay, where city equal to Bombay, and Delhi. Yes. Select client name, address, city from. We have to, if you want to check it, first you execute this particular query. Select, because we have to type properly the column name, otherwise it cannot display. Select star from client underscore M. Now if you'll run it, and then you compare this syntax, what's the problem? Client number, it is there. Name, it is there. Address, city, right? So all address is blank, right? Then city we have Mumbai and address from client M, where city equal to Bombay or city equal to this. It is correct. See here, it is coming. I think somewhere mistakes were there. So now this is how we can have. These are the city we have, Bombay, and Delhi is not there, so it is not coming. Okay, so this is how we can use or condition. If I'll use and condition, both will be there. That means it gives you 0 record. Got my point? So now this way also we can use and or. Okay, so this. So now these are the query you can use. Between you can use different types of, so values comparisons you can have, right? If you want to use product master, and if you want to display, so you can display in between whatever the values will be there, so it will display. And very important, we can have one this way, like wildcat search we can have. So we have a client master we can use, and I can show you, and that will be the last statement in this session, and that one we can discuss. Select star from client underscore C. Okay. So client underscore client master M. Now this is the last statement would be. So now we can use wildcat search. Wildcat search means here I can take one syntax here. I can copy paste here to avoid the time consumption. Now I can use here, select what we can take a client number, name, suppose name, right? Client name from use client underscore M. Okay, and here the point is, suppose name display whose name starts with So we can use name column like this is how we can give one single quotation mark, that is character comparisons we have, we call it searching, right? So if you have a third character, now third character must be A. So I can put 2 underscore. That means first for first, second for second, and third will be A. And the rest of anyone. So now what will happen? So you can execute this. Only I am taking only first things. So here you can see here. So as per this, only two records will be displayed. See, that is the first one I went, and the third one you will display. First one and third one. Got my point? What is the use of percentile here? Takes all characters. What is the use of underscore? One character comparisons, right? Now suppose for example, only I want to display this. That means first character must be I and third character must be A. That means I can make it here arrangement. First one must be I. Then second must be any character. And third must be A. Just only one character. This is how we can string comparison will be there. So this is called, sometimes we call it a wildcat search. So we can searching the different character. Okay. So based on the like operators we can use and we can compare this. And we use two symbols here. One is underscore and another one is percentile. Okay. So now this is the end of this session. And if you have any doubts, you can put in the forum, okay, discussion forum, and we can discuss later. Clear? The students, I think you might have understand what I have already explained in this lab. Thank you, students.